So when we are solving word problems, there's really 4 steps that we're going to go through. The first one is to define the variables, meaning tell me what each thing you are looking for is, what you don't know. So let x equal cost, let y equal, I don't know, whatever your problem says. The second thing you need to do is write the system of equations. The third thing you're going to do is solve the system, showing all your steps. And then lastly, you state your solution in a sentence. So you're going to get an XY pair here, but we're not going to write it as an XY pair, we're going to write it as a sentence because it's a word problem. So you're going to use this anytime you have word problems, really. Make sure that you have this copied in and pause the video if you need to. Go ahead and read the problem to yourself, pause the video, and underline the important information. Okay, so you should have highlighted or underlined at least what I do. Now, if you notice, at one point they say it's 1 foot taller, and then down here they said 60. Then the question says find the height in feet, so we need to change that inches to feet. 60 inches is really 5 feet. Because there are 12 inches in 1 foot. If I take 60 and divide it by 12, the number of inches, I get 5. So there are 5 feet in 60 inches. Now they define my variables for me already. So x, they told me right here, is the taller tree. And y, that's an x. Make sure you know that's an x. And y is the shorter tree. So write that down in your box where it says define the variables. Now it says if she stacked the shorter tree on top of the taller tree, it would look like this. So the shorter tree, we know the height to be y. The taller tree, we know the height to be x. The total height here, they told us, is 60 inches, which we said was 5 feet. Now what would I do to get the total height? I would add the height of the first tree and the height of the second tree together. Well, the height of the first tree is y, and the height of the second tree is x. I would take this height plus this height to get the whole thing. So that gives me my first equation, because we know that equals 5 feet. Okay, so now if I go back to my sheet and I write that in, y plus x equals 5. Or you can write it x plus y equals 5. It's not going to matter. Now it says the taller tree is x, and that is your equal sign. It is 1 foot shorter than. So I'm going to subtract 1 foot from whatever I have, shorter than 5 times the smaller tree. 5 times the smaller tree is y, that's 5y. Now that I have my equations, I can solve. Y plus x equals 5, x equals 5y minus 1. I'm going to take 5y minus 1 and plug it in where I see x, just like we learned in the other videos. Y plus 5y minus 1 equals 5. Go ahead and solve that now. Pause the video and resume once you have solved. When you have this solved, you should have ended up with y equals 1. Now I'm going to plug that back into x equals 5y minus 1 because that's easier for me. Go ahead and plug it back in to get x. Once you plug that in, you should end up with x equals 4. Now the last thing is to write my sentence. Because x is the taller tree, x is 4, so our taller tree is 4. And it's feet because the question said find the heights in feet. And then y is the shorter tree, so the shorter tree is 1 foot. Make sure that you have the work and the solution as a sentence. Pause the video if you need to, and then you are finished with this video.